Okay, so let's look at what's next. We are still missing this smokestack, which appears somewhere around 4 seconds. Actually, when I remember how I built this, watch the cigarette. When the cigarette comes out and the skeleton exhales, that's when the smoke appears. Right, so this smoke appearing, it fades in, which is an opacity move. We're going to keyframe opacity to be at 0 opacity, and then it's going to go to 100% opacity, and that's a fade in. Okay, and then the type is a separate layer. So we'll do the smokestack and then the type. Okay, here we are in everything we had. Oh, the other part of this is part of the reason we built this, so that this mask is a floating disc in front. It makes it very easy to stick this smokestack footage behind the edge of here. You just tuck it in behind this disc, and same thing with the type. We can make the type and then hide it behind this disc and have it come out. If this wasn't a floating layer on top, if this was a hole cut in the curtain, you can't hide something behind a hole. It's it just doesn't make sense. It's not, there's no substance, there's no pixels to put anything behind. So the fact that this is like a little disc, you can hide things behind it. That's another reason that I built it that way. So let's bring our smokestack in. You may be in a place where your effects controls are hiding you don't see your project here because it's set to effects controls. So if that's ever the case, this little arrow, if you click on that, it reveals the fact that there are tabs that you can't see. There's a project tab, so when you click on that, it brings your project tab forward, right? So here's all the stuff that's in my project. I take my smokestack, drag it and drop it on top. And it's much larger than everything else, as you can see. So I'm going to hit S for scale on my keyboard and drag the scale down to make it small enough to fit on the screen. Okay? And it needs to rotate sideways. If you look at this, see how the smoke is not going bottom to top, it's going sideways. And the chimney is hidden. I hid the chimney behind this disc, right? So we don't see the actual stack. So hit R for rotate. Now rotate confuses some people. 0x is full rotations. So if you want something to spin like wheels, what you do is you set a keyframe, move forward in time, and set your x rotations to like a number. So 3x is 3 rotations, so it'll do this. It'll go 1, 2, 3 spins. Okay. So usually, unless you're doing spinning wheels, don't mess with the x. That 0x. That's 0x is how many times do you want to rotate. In this case, we don't even need keyframes. I'm going to get rid of those keyframes, and all we want to do is turn it 90 degrees. So this plus or minus degrees, you can select that and just put in 90. You hit return, and I just rotated it 90 degrees, right? Now it's on top of everything. What we want to do is take it and put it down behind this skeleton smokestack so that it is, underneath this layer. And somewhere around here, where the cigarette goes in and then comes out, that's where we want this to be. We want to hide the chimney behind the edge. I accidentally have 2 smokestacks on here because I did it earlier and the recording didn't take, so I'm going to get rid of that one. Sorry for that confusion. So this, I'm hiding the chimney behind the mask so you don't see it. All you see is the smoke coming out, okay? And then everything up to this point, like early in the clip, we don't want to see this. We want it to be invisible. So take the smokestack and hit T for opacity, turn it on, set it to 0, so it will be invisible, 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 invisible up to this point. And then right here is where we want to make it opaque. So we're going to turn this on, set it to 100, right? And that makes it opaque. And actually this 100%, I'm going to slide this forward so that it's invisible, invisible, invisible until there, it fades in. Now it's fading in, but it's a big giant full-size rectangle. And we don't want it to be a full-size rectangle, we want to crop it. So we can crop it using the mask rectangle tool. So make sure you're on your smokestack layer, get your rectangle drawing tool, and pull a rectangle mask like that. See mask 1 right there, set to add. So it's going to do the trick. It's going to make it, the opacity is making it invisible until the keyframes tell it to fade up, so it fades up. The mask is cropping it in a nice tidy rectangle, and that is very much like what this looks like. I just accidentally realized something interesting that you probably might have spotted already, is that these stripes cut off. They're not long enough. So at some point the stripes go blink and they disappear. And you might want to grab the edge of this and roll it out, but you can't because these stripes are only, the footage is only 6 seconds long. So there's a couple different ways you can make it longer. One way that I know how to do is select it and go to Layer, and look under Time. Under Time there's something here called Time Stretch. So I look at that. Stretch factor is 100. New duration, that looks good. Currently it's only 7 seconds and I want it to be what, 11 plus? So take this and take the 7 and make it 12 seconds. That way it will just stretch it out and make it longer. Okay? So that's another problem we just fixed. The stripes are long enough. Now all we need to do is type. The way to make a new type layer is get your type tool up here, the big letter T, horizontal type tool, click on it, and a lot of people want to go click and drag to make a type box. Don't do that. Just click. When you click, it puts a cursor down. You might see it there, a little cursor. And you can type the word. I think the word I used was exhale, right? E-X, and I have a weird typeface selected, E-X-H-A-L-E. Let me fix that weird font that I was using for something else, and I misspelled it. So I don't want E-S, I want E-X. And I'm going to select it by clicking on it twice with my type tool, this T, go click, click, and it'll get a pink box around it. I have Age Rater selected over here for character. If you don't see your character pane, go to Window, look for it here. They're alphabetized. See, there's character. So if you don't see it, click on it. It'll make this appear. If it's collapsed, just click on it to expand it. And this font, I don't want Age Rater. I want something just chunky, like this. That's pretty nice. You can use whatever you like. And then I'm going to fix my font size here to make it appropriately sized. This PX, you can do it there. You could do it with Scale too. I find that if you do it with this PX, it keeps your edges sharp. If you do it with Scale, you might be magnifying a small font and making it look funny. Or when I say funny, I mean like low res. So scrub your font size here first, as a rule. Okay? So there's my font, and it's just sitting there, and it is not moving along a curved path like that. So the way to get font to move along a curved path, the reason I have this in this exercise is because it's actually using the mask. It's a weird use of the mask tool. Okay? So select your type layer. And we're going to make a curved path using the pen tool. So right here, my pen tool is set still to convert vertex tool from before. So if you see the flying V, change it to your pen tool. Now, the pen tool to make a curved line is a little tricky. If you know how to do this from learning the pen tool in Photoshop or Illustrator, it's the same thing. If you've never used it before, very simply, I'm going to show you how to do this. Watch it. When you click with the pen tool, it makes a point. See that point? And then I'm going to move to the middle of the screen, and I'm going to click and hold my click. So when I click and hold, it makes a second point and connects it with a line. I'm still holding my click down. When I pull it, it sprouts handles which bend that line. Okay? So what I want to do is bend the line so it's like a smiley, a curve. Right? And when I let go of my click, it just lets go of that handle, that Bezier handle. This line with a dot on it is not my line. It's a controller. It's a Bezier handle that lets me bend this line. Okay, so I can use it to kind of manipulate this line, but when I let go of it, the line is actually just from this point to this point. Okay, when I come over here and make another click, it's going to continue that curve and make a nice sweeping line. Right? That's all I need to do. So I'm going to delete that and do it one more time just to show you. So under masks, this mask 1, it's funny because this doesn't look like a mask, but this line, After Effects is remembering this line here as a mask, even though it's not a shape, okay? It's just an idiosyncrasy of how After Effects does masks. So I'm going to select this mask 1 and do it again just for demo, okay? So making sure that you have this layer selected, get your pen tool, click once, it makes a point. Come over halfway, click second time and pull your handle to make it a curve, and let go. And then come over here and click again. And that's all I need is that curved line. That is this mask 1. Okay. Now this line, I'm going to use it to make this text travel on that line. The way I do that is here, where on my type layer, where it says text, if I flip this open, you'll see something called path options. And if I open up path options, there's something called path, which is set to none. If you look here under none, look, there's mask 1. When I select mask 1, what it does is it hugs your type onto that mask 1 path. Okay? Type